want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then taste it.
Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest motherfucking show on earth, as we are streaming live across 4 different platforms and 4 different accounts, and we are set for yet another hot and spicy edition of the Lightning Flash Update to close out the month of June, as we are 1/3 through summer of 2024. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the Best Damn X, formerly known as Twitter handle, known to mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash Update for Saturday, June 29th, 2024. A little bit later than usual. I had something come up, needed to push it back just a little bit, but I was not going to skip out on the Lightning Flash Update because we got a big event coming tomorrow for Forbidden Door. We also got a big weekend coming next weekend with Money in the Bank and Heatwave. We got Blood and Guts, Death Before Dishonor, SummerSlam, All In, Bash in Berlin. A lot of shit going down this summer, and shit is only going to get even hotter. We are rolling through the final weekend of June with the Lightning Flash Update. As always, thank you very much for stopping on by and choosing to spend your Saturday afternoons with DJ Shizzle Dizzle. We have a lot of material to talk about, including Dijak, and WWE did not renegotiate any contractual status. Therefore, Dijak is a free agent. He is no longer under contract with WWE. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser is the most recent poor, unfortunate soul to have bitten by the injury bug. Then we also got a report coming out of the NXT locker room, as the NXT locker room feels as though the brand is being picked dry, quote unquote, and there is a fear that a lot of NXT talents are being called up without any plans whatsoever. Penta El Cero Miedo has about 2 months left on his AEW contract, and he is open to going to WWE. Rhea Ripley has plans when she is ready to come back to TV, although that is not being made public knowledge at this very moment. At this very moment, she is not due back until after SummerSlam. And Tony Khan, he said that he has never spoken to Shane McMahon in his life. However, he respects Shane as a wrestler, and he says that he is welcome in AEW. Is Tony Khan saying that he is opening the door for Shane McMahon? Is this a potential invitation for conversations between Tony Khan and Shane McMahon? We're going to talk about that. And of course, we got 4 weekly show reviews. We got Raw, we got Dynamite, we got SmackDown, and we got Rampage. A lot of shit coming out of WWE and AEW side of the fence this week, as we are heading towards 2 major weekends for professional wrestling pay-per-views and premium live events. Obviously, you already know the drill. Be sure to follow me on X and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. One more time, at HistoryMakerDJS, both on X and Instagram. And of course, you can add me on my personal Facebook For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. All of those links are in the description of this very video, including the link to my Rumble. We're looking to build a nice, solid following over on Rumble. So if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, go over to Rumble and follow me on Rumble as well. Be sure to hit the like button, no matter where you're watching it from. Whether you're watching it on Facebook, YouTube, X, or Rumble, hit the like button and share the stream out on all platforms of social media. It is incredibly vital that you do so because we want to get as many people in here as possible. Everyone needs their dosage of DJ Shizzle Dizzle because it is a known fact that I make people's lives better. I didn't make the rules. Yes, I did. In addition to that, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you're watching on my YouTube channel and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace because that way you are going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, you already know that it is the best motherfucking time to be on YouTube. It is the only time that you can get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. And of course, you cannot forget the fact that you got to get your DJ Storms merch, whether it be wristbands, whether it be t-shirts, or the greatest piece of merch that you will ever own, the official DJ Storms Switchblade Comb. And you already know when you take that deep breath in and you go, oh yeah, you already know that's the smell of pure fucking excellence. You will smell like pure fucking excellence. And with this comb, just like me, you will be so good. You will be scrumptious and tasty. And just like everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister, everyone's going to want a piece of you. And then finally, be sure to get in your super chats, get in your super stickers, get in your super thanks, become a member of the channel. You'll get special perks, including custom channel emojis. Very vital that you do so. We have a lot of good shit going down in the coming weeks. You are not going to want to miss it. You want to be a part of all the groundbreaking achievements and moments that DJ Storms has been a part of for the last nearly 7 years now. Next month will be my 7-year anniversary. You are not going to want to miss a single moment or a single stream that I got going on throughout the course of this summer and beyond. Nevertheless, we got shit to talk about. Why don't we get straight into the festivities here? Let's go through the news, rumors, and reports. We have had a lot of big-time news, rumors, and reports throughout the course of 2024, and it just keeps getting more and more interesting. Per his X account, Dijak, formerly known as T-Bar from Retribution, formerly known as Dominik Dijakovic, back in NXT Black and Gold. Remember when NXT was actually good. Dijak has finished up with the WWE as of yesterday, and he stated that there have not been any negotiations regarding a contractual renewal. There were phone calls made, but they never actually sat down to discuss renewals in depth. Therefore, his contract ran out. He is a free agent. He is free to sign with anyone and any place. He's free to visit all of these different promoters. He is free to visit AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, MLW, CMLL, AAA. No matter where he wants to go, he is free to do whatever he pleases at this very moment in time. Now, I do not use the word fumble at all when it comes to professional wrestling. Matter of fact, the word fumble is perhaps the most overabused wrestling term in the modern era right now. It's even more overabused than the word buried. Oh, this guy got fumbled. That guy got fumbled. Man, they really fumbled this chick. Man, they really fumbled that chick. My God, they fumbled this tag team big time. So on and so forth. The word fumble gets thrown around like fucking confetti. It gets handed out like fucking cheap candy on Halloween. I never, ever have used the word fumble before because I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's fucking ridiculous, and people have been over-abusing it left and right. However, I'm going to have to make an exception for this. I never, ever use the word fumble. You can go back throughout the course of these many, many streams that I've done over the years. I have never used the word fumble, but I'm going to use it here. The WWE absolutely fumbled Dijak. Absolutely. He was called up from NXT way too fucking soon. Now, this is when Vince was still in charge. And with Vince still in charge, you knew that Dijak did not have one single iota of a chance of succeeding on the main roster. They made him T-bar. Then he shed the mask. They still didn't do anything with him, even though he was a great fucking wrestler. They brought him back down to NXT, and it seemed like he was getting himself a nice, solid amount of momentum behind him. If anything, Dijak should have been the guy to take the NXT championship off of Ilya Dragunov. They didn't do that, and instead, they gave it to Trick Williams. Imagine that. Imagine bypassing Dijak for Trick Williams, of all fucking people. Trick Williams, listen, he's gotten better. He's gotten better, but in no way, shape, or form is he ready to be the face of a brand. Just because you have a catchy theme song, just because you have the crowd chanting one of your signature catchphrases, does not mean you should be world champion. If you ain't fucking wrestling like a world champion, you should not be a world champion. Unless Trick Williams is wrestling like Ilya Dragunov, unless he's wrestling like Gunther, unless he's wrestling like Seth Rollins, unless he's wrestling like Damian Priest, unless he's wrestling like Swerve Strickland, unless he's wrestling like Will Ospreay. Trick Williams should not be a world champion. I'm sorry if that pisses you off, but that's the fucking truth. The fact that they surpassed on Dijak, the fact that this guy didn't even get one single week, never mind 1 month, 1 week as a champion of any sort in the WWE. That right there is a fucking crime unto itself. He has been with that company for 6 fucking years. 6 years. And they did not do one single thing with him. He should have never been called up from NXT back in 2020. Should have never been called up from NXT, number one. And then number two, when he was brought down to NXT, all they used this guy for is being an enhancement for others. He got hot a couple times, but he cycled back and forth between getting himself on a win streak, ultimately to lose the big match. How many big matches did you have Dijak in where he lost? I don't understand. I don't understand how you have this man on your roster, and it doesn't even matter if he didn't win the NXT championship, but you can't even give this guy a short-ass North American title reign? That shit right there is fucking inexcusable. I do not like the word fumble. The word fumble gets thrown around way too fucking often. The word fumble is overabused. It gets thrown around like candy on Halloween, but I'm going to have to use it in this case. WWE fumbled Dijak. How this man has been with the company for 6 years and you didn't even give this man, never mind a month, you didn't even give this man 1 week as any sort of fucking champion in that company. You couldn't even give him a measly 20-day reign as NXT North American champion, but yet you bypass him taking the NXT championship off of Ilya Dragunov for Trick Williams, who isn't even in a world championship caliber wrestling league yet. That guy can't wrestle like a world champion. He's gotten better, but he can't. WWE messed up big time by letting Dijak go, and they're going to regret it. Whoever lands Dijak is going to be very, very lucky. And this actually bleeds into what I want to talk about next. Fightful came out with an interesting report regarding the NXT locker room. For those of you that do not know, Dijak was actually drafted to Raw back during the draft. But at the end of the day, they did not do anything with him. They did not do anything with Dijak. And he was up on the main roster for 2 months. Instead, they just let his contract expire. NXT and the feeling of NXT, it may be a little different because we got the TNA partnership, but Fightful Select has come out with a report stating that there is a fear within NXT that the brand may be, quote-unquote, picked dry in the draft, whenever the next draft is, probably after WrestleMania. The concern also revolves around the WWE calling up talent from the brand without a plan. Oh, but the WWE has changed, they say. Where have I heard that before? There is concern in NXT that talent is being called up without a plan. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Where have I heard that before? Man, the last time that I remember hearing about that was a certain senile old fuck that is currently being ousted as a sexual predator. Vince McMahon. Talent is being called up without a plan and the brand is being picked dry. I mean, where's the fucking lie? I'm gonna pull my best Bobby Fish impersonation. Where's the lie? Where? There ain't no fucking lie. That's the best part about this. I have been probably one of the only individuals in the IWC that has not bought into the fact that, oh, NXT is getting better. Oh, this is the best version of NXT that we've ever gotten. No, it's fucking not, you fucking retards. No, it's not. NXT is the worst brand in the industry right now, and I have been very, very vocal about that. The problem is that people are fucking blinded by whatever fucking hype that WWE is trying to spew to you right now. Is the WWE better than it was under Vince? Absolutely. I've talked about that many a times, but just because WWE has higher ratings, just because WWE are selling out arenas, that doesn't mean that the shows are good. Quality is not determined by finances. The quality of a product is not determined by ratings and ticket sales. The quality of the product is determined by the objective feeling. The quality of the product is determined by the content that you put out. Whatever's going on with finances and ratings and ticket sales, it means absolutely fucking nothing. It is all about the content that you put out. NXT may be getting a little bit of higher ratings. NXT may have a great roster, but the content that they're putting out is not interesting. NXT doesn't even have a legitimate identity. We have a draft in place, yet you have individuals from Raw and SmackDown that take trips down to NXT every other week. The fucking New Catch Republic has been on Monday Night Raw for how long? They just recently made an appearance on NXT. Are they NXT wrestlers or are they Monday Night Raw wrestlers? NXT has no identity. NXT is virtually a place where anyone can show up. It's so unpredictable that it's not coming off well. Unpredictability is not always a good thing. Structure, organization is a good thing. Raw is structured. SmackDown is structured. NXT is not structured. So I would not be shocked at all if there's a fear in NXT that the brand could be picked dry because WWE has this mentality about them. Hey, we send Raw and SmackDown superstars down to NXT anyway, so it doesn't really matter who we call up and who we don't call up. It's a big mumble-jumbled mess. And now that we got the TNA partnership, there's going to be more people that are going to be crossing over. So they don't need to worry about working with what they have. They don't need to be worried about building new stars down in NXT. They don't. They're just going to throw whoever down there, and they're just going to work with whoever they happen to toss down there just for the sake of, who cares? Don't worry, we're high. We're financially high. Yeah, the ratings for NXT are going up. It doesn't matter. Meanwhile, that's not a good feeling for the NXT roster because they don't know what the fuck's going to happen. They don't know when they're getting called up. They don't know where they're going to go going into the future. It's not all fine and dandy in WWE. And then on top of that, concern that revolves around WWE talent being called up without a plan. I want you guys to take a look at Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. How many individuals were called up from NXT? Baron Corbin got called up from NXT after he resurrected his career. Lyra Valkyria got called up. Blair Davenport got called up. Who else got called up? Tiffany Stratton, she got called up. She's officially on the WWE main roster. Ilya Dragunov got called up. Dijak got called up, and he's not even with the company anymore. Odyssey Jones got drafted to the main roster. Last year, we have not seen him once. We haven't seen him once. Is he injured? Is he stuck on main event? Did he get lost in fucking Narnia when he went through a closet in the locker room? Where the fuck is he? The only guy that has been called up in this most recent draft that actually has a plan, the only individual that they called up from NXT in this most recent draft that they actually have a plan for is Braun Breaker. He was the only guy that they called up and they actually had a plan in place for him. Everyone else is floating around in a sea of fucking nothing. How you don't even have Ilya Dragunov in the Money in the Bank ladder match right now, that is a fucking crime unto itself. I mean, out of anyone on that roster, Ilya Dragunov deserves to be in that match the most because of what he can do. He brings a sense of legitimacy to everything that he does. What are they fucking doing with Baron Corbin? You got the Bloodline taking up 7 different segments on SmackDown, even though we get some good material with the Bloodline. You got the Bloodline taking up 7 different segments on SmackDown to a point where Baron Corbin barely gets 45 seconds of a promo backstage with Carmelo Hayes and Apollo Crews. What about Carmelo Hayes? Carmelo Hayes may be in the ladder match, but do you feel as though there's a plan for Carmelo Hayes? No. Carmelo Hayes, he may be great, and he may be in the ladder match, but he doesn't feel as important as he should be. The only guy with a plan is Braun Breaker. And this fuels what I've been saying about the WWE. You want to know why I'm critical about the WWE? You want to know why I hate what WWE is doing with all of this cinema bullshit and the fact that, they're calling up all these individuals? You want to know why I am so adamant on building up new stars? It's because WWE does not know how to structure their show to a point where everyone, or at least most of everyone, will get a piece of the pie. If your name is not Randy Orton, if your name isn't Solo Sikoa or some member of the Bloodline, if your name isn't Cody, if your name isn't Rollins, if your name isn't Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, they don't give a fuck about you. They put all their effort into the main guys, and they put no effort into their undercard except maybe 1 or 2 individuals. The only 2 individuals in the undercard that they're actually putting effort into is Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. You take a look on SmackDown, LA Knight has been doing fuck all except losing big matches for the last 8 to 9 months. Now, finally, he's getting himself on the right track, and finally, it looks like they're going to put the U.S. title on him. Meanwhile, they should have done that shit last year. LA Knight, he didn't need to take a loss against Roman Reigns. He didn't need to lose the Fatal 4-Way match at Royal Rumble. He didn't need to lose the Elimination Chamber. He didn't need to lose a number 1 contenders match to AJ Styles. And he didn't need to lose the King of the Ring tournament. 5 big losses in a row. He did not need to take any one of those losses. He should have remained undefeated going into this year as United States champion. But no, instead they gave it to Logan Paul. Logan Paul barely defends the fucking title. And now they're finally going to get the title on LA Knight after 1 year of them fumbling around, doing nothing with him except having him lose big money matches. I do not doubt at all that there is fear within the NXT brand. The NXT brand right now is absolutely being picked dry. You take a look at all the talent that have gotten called up. None of them have a plan. There's concern that the talent is being called up without a plan. who that has been called up from NXT in this most recent draft actually feels like they have plans? No one except for Braun Breaker. And that reminds me of Vince. It honestly reminds me of Vince McMahon. And it really makes me wonder if Triple H actually knows what the fuck he's doing with all these other individuals like Lyra and Ilya and Baron Corbin, who recently revived his career in NXT. What the fuck is going on? It's not a fun feeling, that's for sure. I want to be more positive about the WWE, but it really doesn't feel like much has changed because WWE is putting all the effort into the big names and they're not putting any effort into the new stars that they called up from NXT. It's ridiculous. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is currently out right now. I don't know when he's going to come back, but I would like to send out my thoughts and prayers to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns' father, Sika Anoa'i, one of the pillars of the Anoa'i dynasty, passed away earlier this week. My thoughts and prayers go out to Sika Anoa'i's family, friends, and all of his acquaintances and associates. Ludwig Kaiser, as I mentioned in the beginning, Ludwig Kaiser has suffered the unfortunate bite from the injury bug. According to Fightful and WrestleVotes, Kaiser may have suffered an arm injury during his match with Braun Breaker on Raw. It is unclear what the injury is. It is unclear the severity of the injury, but I'm going to keep you guys in the loop there. I'm going to make sure that if any new reports come out, I will let you guys know. But if this is true, man, oh man, that is another blow to Monday Night Raw because Kaiser, he is great at what he does. I love what Ludwig Kaiser is doing. Ludwig Kaiser is fantastic when you give him the opportunity to be. And it's actually quite disgusting that they decided to break up Imperium. It's actually quite disgusting that they broke up Imperium. Giovanni Vinci has not been seen since he was attacked by Ludwig Kaiser. They broke up Imperium, and now Ludwig Kaiser is nothing more than Gunther's jacket hanger. Ludwig Kaiser is nothing more than Gunther's coat rack. He's a great wrestler, but at the end of the day, what the fuck is he going to do? He's not going to be an Intercontinental Champion. He's not going to be a United States Champion. The guy is a lackey for Gunther. At least with Giovanni Vinci, you could have made them tag team champions at one point. Ludwig Kaiser, as great as he is, he's not a priority singles wrestler. It's the same thing with Jey Uso. You're really going to push Jey Uso over everyone else. They have been pushing Jey Uso over everyone else. If they've been pushing Jey Uso over everyone else, I mean, that shit right there is fucking ridiculous in its own right. But that shit right there, pushing Ludwig Kaiser over other individuals like a Braun Breaker or Ludwig Kaiser or Damian Priest or a Dragon Lee, like you can't fucking do that. Ludwig Kaiser, as great as he is not a priority singles wrestler. They should have never broken up him and Giovanni Vinci. But at this stage of the game, Ludwig Kaiser is very good at what he does. He is a good asset to the show. When he's on the show becomes a bit better because when he speaks, he comes off legit. He comes off serious. And you believe what he's saying, and he backs it up in the ring too. He's a very good wrestler. And it sucks that he may be out. I hope that he's not out for very long. I really hope that he's not out for very long and he is able to at least remain on TV. I hope it's just a sprain. I hope it's just a bruise. I hope it's just a slight fracture and he doesn't need to get surgery at all because that would be another huge blow to the WWE in general. Rhea Ripley. She is currently out right now. She's healing up a shoulder injury. And according to Sean Ross Sapp, despite not being cleared, Rhea Ripley does indeed have plans in place from the WWE creative team to rejoin the WWE programming when she is ready. I mean, that is pretty obvious. I think that we all expected that Rhea Ripley had plans in place. I mean, the story is very simple. Liv Morgan has been seducing Dominic Mysterio for the last month. Liv Morgan's been seducing Dominic Mysterio for the last month. So by that logic, Rhea Ripley is going to come back and she's going to fucking cause chaos. She is coming for Liv Morgan's head. It's quite obvious where the story is going. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out what Rhea Ripley's going to be doing. When Rhea Ripley comes back, she's going to be coming for Liv Morgan's head. She's coming to get her Dom back, and she's coming to get her Women's World Championship back. It's quite obvious. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, major congratulations to Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews. They recently tied the knot. They got married this past week. Congratulations to the both of them. Can't wait to see them both back on TV. They are both fantastic at what they do. Sean Ross Sapp also reported that Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, are currently working with TNA on a verbal agreement. They have not signed any contracts with TNA. This was already public knowledge, but we did not know the extent of the agreement. It is indeed a verbal agreement, and they are currently in negotiations with other companies, although we have not heard any further discussion on where they may be signing. We don't know if Tony Khan's going to want him back. We don't know if AEW is going to want him back. We do not know if there's going to be any more contractual negotiations with either of those companies and the Hardys. If you ask me, I can definitely see the Hardys getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think that now they are no longer in AEW, we could very well see the Hardy Boys get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, probably in Las Vegas before WrestleMania 41, night number 1 and 2. I don't really know what's going to happen with the Hardys, and to be quite honest with you, I don't care for it too much. The Hardys are great at what they do, but they had their chance. Jeff fucked up their chance, and now they were in a scenario where they were putting other talent over. That's the Hardy Boys' extent right now. They're not going to be showcased prominently unless they go to a company like TNA. If they go to the WWE, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to put people over. And they are going to be used as glorified enhancement talents. That's just the way it goes. Speaking of AEW, Penta El Cero Miedo, he roughly has about 2 months left on his AEW contract, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and he is indeed open to leaving and going to WWE. I already talked about this before. I am a massive Penta advocate. Penta is one of the best wrestlers that AEW has. Penta is incredibly versatile. He is fantastic from bell to bell. He is legit, and he is one of the most exciting individuals that you will watch. He's a very good entertainer as well. However, as good as Penta is, I want you guys to take a look at Mexican and Lucha Libre stars on Raw and SmackDown right now. Who on Raw and SmackDown that is a Mexican and Lucha Libre star is actually being treated properly? I talked about this the last time I talked about Penta. The answer is no one. All of the Mexican and Lucha Libre stars that are on WWE TV right now, they are either in the LWO, they are either in Legado del Fantasma, or they're feuding with one of them. I mean, look at what happened with Andrade and Santos Escobar. They were feuding. They had a little mini feud going on. That feud's probably going to continue following Money in the Bank. I don't expect Andrade to win Money in the Bank, although he should be a top priority of potentially winning Money in the Bank. He should be one of the top priority figures for winning Money in the Bank. He's not going to win it. Unfortunately, he will not win it. I hate that. I really do. I fucking hate it, but he's not going to win it. As far as WWE getting Penta, I love Penta, but Triple H would not treat Penta right. At least based on what's going on WWE TV right now, Triple H would not utilize Penta to his fullest. I mean, Triple H recently just came out like a fucking idiot. I swear to God, every single time I think about this, I always get pissed off. Triple H came out in a recent interview like a fucking retard and said, WWE is not a sport, it's a movie about a sport. This is the shit that I hate about modern day pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is a sport and it should be treated as such. This is why I'm critical of WWE, because they don't put professional wrestling first. The shows are a lot better. They are. The shows are a lot better. But unless they put pro wrestling first, they're not the best that they could be. You take a look at what WWE's been doing recently. They have been putting pro wrestling first on their TV. But when Triple H comes out and says something like that, it really makes me question if Triple H is just blowing smoke up our asses. And then once we have all of these major events sold out, what is he going to give us when he gets to these major events? Is he actually going to give us a pro wrestling first show? I don't know. I don't have the greatest of confidence in Triple H when it comes to doing a pro wrestling show. But at least in AEW, if Penta stays, at least he'll be free to go out there and have the great matches that he's been having. That's what Penta should be utilized for. Penta should be utilized to his fullest when the bell rings. Pro wrestling first. That's what I always say. Stories should not come before wrestling. It's a pro wrestling company. We need to evolve the business. We do not need soap opera drama taking a precedent over professional wrestling. I'm not saying there should be no story whatsoever, because story equals structure. But build the show around professional wrestling and then focus on everything else. Give me those 5-star classics every week. That is what pro wrestling should be about. Build a more sports-oriented product. I don't think that WWE would know what to do with Penta. You take a look at what they're doing with Dragon Lee. I mention Dragon Lee all the time. Dragon Lee is one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet right now. What the fuck are they doing with him? What are they doing with him? They've done nothing with him. Dragon Lee's run in WWE has been as lukewarm as you could get. Dragon Lee has had a shit first year in NXT, and then they gave him the North American Championship only to have him lose it to Obafemi within a month. They've done nothing with Dragon Lee since he's joined the LWO. The man recently just got beat by Carlito, of all people. I respect Carlito, but Carlito should not be going over a guy like Dragon Lee. That's fucking criminal. I want to be more excited. But Penta going to WWE, as interesting as it may be, WWE, I don't think that they know what they're doing with the Lucha Libre stars. Santos Escobar has lost all of his momentum. Santos Escobar should be a lot further along than he is right now. What about Angel and Humberto? The tag team division on Raw and SmackDown is non-existent. They recently just gave the fucking titles back to the Judgment Day. I'm happy for JD, but Finn Balor is above this shit. Tag team wrestling on WWE has taken a major nosedive into the ocean. And don't even get me started on guys like Andrade. Andrade only recently did something interesting on WWE. Andrade recently qualified for Money in the Bank last week. I'm pretty sure a lot of you forgot that he even had a WrestleMania match this year. His WrestleMania match was as irrelevant as you could say. Irrelevant as can be. Barely a blip on night number 1 with a half-dead crowd. Goodbye. What do you think Penta's going to do? You think that Penta is going to break Triple H's habit of mistreating Lucha Libre stars? Penta is not a Cody Rhodes. Penta is not a Randy Orton. He's not a Rhea Ripley. He's not a Becky Lynch. What do you think is going to happen? He's going to fall by the wayside just like every other Lucha Libre star. I hope that that's not the case. Really. I hope that that's not the case, but I can't sit here and be confident that Penta going to WWE is a good move for his career in terms of a quality standpoint. Listen, he'll get paid just as much, if not more money, if he stays with AEW, but I guess he just wants to test the waters. He's going to find out quick that it's not all that fun on the other side. WWE really isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's not. You may be performing in front of more people. You may be performing on shows with higher ratings, but at the end of the day, all you're going to get is a fucking paycheck. You're not going to get the proper treatment that you deserve. Braun Breaker is lucky that WWE loves him and they have heavy investment in him. And finally, got the big one here. Shane McMahon. The rumors have been swirling. Everything's been going round and round and round. Shane McMahon, he expressed interest in working with AEW. Fightful Select, they reported that as of this very moment, Shane McMahon does not have a Legends contract with the WWE. He's currently free to work anywhere that he wants. Now, Tony Khan recently said in an interview with Sports Illustrated that he has never met Shane McMahon. He commented on Shane McMahon and the relationship status with him. He said, and I quote, "I've heard the rumor he might be interested. I've never met Shane, but we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive and as a professional wrestler. Shane is always welcome in AEW." And it seems as though that right there was an open invitation stating that Tony Khan is indeed open to working with Shane McMahon. Now, from a business standpoint, I do believe Shane McMahon could help them get a little bit more structured. I do believe that Shane McMahon, he knows the ins and outs of marketing. He can help market their shows. He can help get the name out there, and he can help really bring some more eyes to the business side of things. He'll organize the business side of things in AEW. However, after what happened at the Royal Rumble 2022, can Shane McMahon really be trusted? Can Shane McMahon really be trusted? I don't know. It's up in the air for me. Tony Khan stated that he's never met Shane, but he has a lot of mutual friends with him. He respects him as an executive and as a wrestler, and Shane is welcome in AEW. I don't know if Tony Khan was just saying the politically correct thing or if he actually believes that. I want to believe that Shane McMahon could very well help AEW from a business perspective. He'll organize the finances. He'll help with marketing. He'll get more eyes on the product. I want to believe that there is some positive with Shane McMahon going to AEW, but after what happened at the Royal Rumble 2022, when he tried to make it all about himself, it makes me wonder if Shane McMahon's ego is too big. Because AEW is not about egos. AEW is about going out there and giving back to the professional wrestling fans and putting on great matches. I don't think Shane McMahon's heart would truthfully be in the right place. And ladies and gentlemen, that is all I got as far as my news, rumors, and reports goes. Hope you guys are having a fun time so far. We got ourselves 3 weekly shows to dive in depth on. We had a lot of decent material on Raw and on SmackDown and Dynamite too. As we head into Forbidden Door tomorrow, why don't we go over Monday Night Raw? Monday Night Raw, not as good of a show as last week, but still, it was decent enough to get by, and the build towards Money in the Bank has been very, very good. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw it out there. the build to Money in the Bank has probably been the best build that we've seen for any WWE Premium Live event in a very long time. The build towards Money in the Bank has been fucking awesome from start to finish. Drew McIntyre, he kicked off the show. Everybody's chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. Drew talked about how everyone was talking about what happened last week on SmackDown. Crowd booed. He said that all the fans that chant Punk's name, he is done with them. He is done with them. You can chant his name, you're dead to me. I'm going to talk to you, Punk, and I hope you're watching and you're very uncomfortable and in pain and you're miserable because I put you there. I also took this, and he showed a little bracelet with AJ's name and Larry's name on it. He says, you wear this when you leave home so you don't feel alone, but right now you are alone because of me. I'm going to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match, and you'll watch as I win, but I won't be alone. I'll have your dog with me. I'll have your wife with me, says Drew. I'll have your family in my corner now, and I will win and cash in the same night and become world champion in spite of your ass. Love it. Simple, straightforward, to the point. It was beautifully done. Exactly what needed to be said. Exactly what needed to be done. And now with Punk attacked by McIntyre in Chicago, now this is going to open up the door for Punk costing McIntyre again. I'd be shocked if Punk is not going to be at Money in the Bank. It's quite simple. Now, CM Punk is going to cost Drew McIntyre for the last time, to a point where Drew McIntyre cannot ignore CM Punk anymore. Drew McIntyre realizes, I need to fucking take this guy out once and for all. I want him at SummerSlam. I can see CM Punk absolutely costing Drew McIntyre in Toronto at Money in the Bank. And I'm going to look forward to it. I'm absolutely going to look forward to it. Braun Breaker and Ludwig Kaiser. A little sloppy here and there, but it was otherwise a decent match. And it ended in a DQ. I really wish that WWE would stop over-abusing the DQ, because this is the second DQ that we saw in a matter of 3 days on WWE programming. But this match ended in a DQ because Sheamus came in out of nowhere with a punt knee on Kaiser, and that caused a DQ. Breaker then speared Sheamus, and both men were laid out. Braun Breaker walked away, pissed beyond belief. And that obviously led to the match being confirmed for Money in the Bank. It will be Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria, Shayna Baszler, and Kairi Sane, Money in the Bank qualifying match for the women. This was a very, very good match. I'm glad these three women got enough time to showcase what they can do. They even got a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. Excellent stuff right here. And Lyra Valkyria, she ended up taking the win with the Nightwing. Lyra getting the win, absolutely the right outcome. And I'm very, very happy to see that they are pushing Lyra Valkyria heavily in the women's division, because Monday Night Raw is in need of some new stars. Lyra is a new star, and Lyra is very, very likable. She's very good in the ring. And now that she is in Money in the Bank, if they wanted to experiment with her, if they wanted to give her the Money in the Bank briefcase, I certainly would not be opposed to it. She's not my first choice. She's not the first choice, period. But I think Lyra would absolutely be a good candidate. She's over with the crowd. They appreciate what she can do. And she's been showcased heavily in a prominent role on TV since the draft. This is a good strategy for WWE when booking Lyra Valkyria. We'll see what happens at Money in the Bank. I don't see her winning, but it would not be a bad decision if she were to win. Liv Morgan came out to the ring, and she goes, "Oh, Dominic." in a very seductive way. "Oh, Dominic, I thought I'd come out here to try and get your attention, and I hope you liked that text that I sent you. I got so much more in store for you. Rhea's never cared about you the way that I do. I'll give you more gifts in front of all of these people." Out comes Zelina Vega. Out comes Zelina Vega. OTS Tribal Queen. "Oh, well, these new stars aren't lighting the company on fire." You do realize that it's not going to happen within 2-3 months, right? This bloodline shit has been going on for 4 years now, number one. And number two, the main reason why the bloodline storyline now is so good is because Paul Heyman is an MVP. Paul Heyman has taken over the role of Sami Zayn. If Paul Heyman wasn't there, the bloodline right now would be a dead faction. It's the same shit with Sami Zayn back in 2022. The new stars aren't going to be lighting the company on fire within 2 months. They're not. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that what they're doing is bad. You don't necessarily need to, quote unquote, light the company on fire to be considered good. This whole concept of lighting the company on fire, it's really fucking stupid. You can't gauge certain individuals on the same level as others who have been around longer and showcased more prominently. You can't compare a Lyra Valkyria or an Ilya Dragunov to the Bloodline because the Bloodline have been showcased prominently on TV for 4 years. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. Okay? Chill. Fucking chill. Back to Liv Morgan. I was talking about Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. So Liv Morgan was out there. Out comes Zelina Vega. And she said that she is here to shut Liv Morgan up. She said that Liv is obsessed with Rhea Ripley's sloppy seconds. I thought that was a good line. So she said, "You're chasing Dirty D. Meanwhile, I am chasing that title that you have." Liv said the title is the most important thing in her life. Vega said, "Well, why don't you put that title on the line right here in Indianapolis?" So Dominic Mysterio came out and the crowd booed as expected. Vega said Liv didn't need to bring her man out here to get in the way. Dominic tried to say, "I am not her man. If anything, I want you to become champion, Zelina Vega. I would rather have anyone with that title but her." So Vega obviously declined Dominic's help. Liv attacked Zelina Vega. Rey Mysterio came out to pull Liv Morgan off, and Dominic shoved his father because Rey Mysterio put his hands on his son. And then Liv Morgan followed Dominic Mysterio. You know, I really wasn't going to talk about this, but I may as well talk about this. There are actual people on social media, and this is how fucking retarded social media is. There are literal people on social media right now that are trying to draw comparisons with this Liv Morgan Dominic storyline, and they're trying to say that WWE is mocking the sexual assault allegations. WWE is making light of Vince McMahon's crimes, and it's a sexual harassment storyline. These fucking social justice warrior pussies out here ruining, and I mean ruining, the entire aspect of professional wrestling. First of all, how is it similar? I don't see Liv Morgan naming dildos after members of the Judgment Day. I don't see Dominic Mysterio shitting on Liv Morgan's head. How exactly is this mocking the sexual assault lawsuit with Vince McMahon? There's no comparison. The love triangle storyline is literally the most old school storyline in the world of drama. Not even just wrestling, in drama. How the fuck is it the same? Vince McMahon isn't even there anymore. Vince isn't even there anymore. They're doing it specifically because it fits into the Liv Morgan narrative of taking everything from Rhea Ripley. There's no similarities. There's no comparisons with Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio being compared to Vince McMahon's sexual harassment and sexual assault lawsuit. If you want to be mad about something, listen, if you want to be mad about something, how about you be mad that this is the extent of Liv Morgan's title reign? How about that? How about you be mad about the fact that they're not building any legit, credible challengers to fight Liv Morgan for the women's world title? That's what I'm pissed off about. I'm pissed off at the fact that they are not giving Liv the opportunity to showcase what she can do in the ring, because I don't know if you realize this, but Liv Morgan is actually a very good wrestler. She's not the best. I'm not going to sit here and say that, man, Liv Morgan's going to go down as one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. She's not. But when she's offered the opportunity, when you give her time, she's actually very, very solid. The match she had with Becky back at King and Queen of the Ring was actually very solid. She is capable of putting on a good match. But they're not giving her anything to work with except seducing Dominic Mysterio. That you can be mad about. But trying to compare it to Vince McMahon's sexual assault lawsuit? I mean, are you out of your fucking mind? There are people legit trying to say that WWE is mocking Vince McMahon's sexual assault case against Janelle Grant. There are legit no comparisons. Vince is not there anymore, number one. Number two, the love triangle storyline is legit the oldest storyline in the world of soap opera drama, and that seems as though what WWE is going for here. Number three, Liv Morgan ain't naming dildos after the Judgment Day. 4, Dominic Mysterio ain't defecating on Liv Morgan's head. So how the fuck is it the same? If you want to be mad about something, be mad at the fact that the extent of Liv Morgan's title reign is seducing Dominic Mysterio, and they're not building up any credible challengers to fight her. Because Liv's actually a very good wrestler, but they're not giving her the opportunity to showcase that. So if you want to be mad about that, be mad about that. That's what I'm mad about. But trying to compare it to Vince McMahon's sexual assault lawsuit? Stop being social justice pussies. Stop. Swear to God, that shit right there really fucking pisses me off. These fucking social justice warriors are legit the bane of the world's existence. If there's one thing that I wish I could do, I wish I had the fucking Infinity Stones and I could just snap my fingers and all these fucking liberal pussies will just vanish and disintegrate into fucking dust. That would legit be the best thing to ever happen to this world. Getting rid of these liberal fucking pussies. Braun Strowman, Chad Gable, and Bronson Reed. Money in the Bank qualifying match. I swear to God, hell froze over. Hell froze over about twice on this show. Number one, Chad Gable actually got the win here. They actually put Chad Gable in Money in the Bank. Holy fuck. I mean, my God. I was not expecting that whatsoever. They actually gave Chad Gable the win. Judgment Day attacked Braun Strowman, and Chad Gable gets the victory. I didn't think that they were going to do it, but props to them. Chad Gable, if you're asking me, Chad Gable's the number one guy. He's the number one guy in this match. He should absolutely be a top candidate to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. He is way too fucking good. He's way too fucking good to just be another guy in there. Now afterwards, the lights went out. Nikki Cross, she entered the ring. Gable slid out. Nikki Cross crawled over to Michael Cole and gave him a box. Then she left through the crowd. Coming back from commercial, Michael Cole opened it, and it was a VHS tape. Cole told someone to get it to the truck, and then later on in the show, they played the VHS tape. Afterwards, Chad Gable was in the back trying to apologize to the Alpha Academy, but Otis did not accept it. And in came the Creed brothers to ask if Chad Gable was okay. Chad Gable said no. It looks like we're finally getting that partnership with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. The Unholy Union versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter. No one gave a fuck about this match. This was a waste of time, and it's quite frankly pathetic because all of these great women, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, all of these great women are stuck fighting over meaningless titles. We need to get rid of the women's tag team titles, and we need to get rid of the women's tag team titles immediately. Shit is not making the product better. It's actually making it worse. Damian Priest came out. He came out to address the crowd. He came out to address Seth Rollins. Damian Priest, he said that he understands where Seth is getting the comparisons between the both of them. He says, we are leaders. We are champions. I know what I see in Seth, though. It's a man that I do not want to become. Seth is great, but as long as I remain champion, he will never see the mountaintop again. Out came Seth Rollins. Crowd is singing his song. He did his shtick. He then said, you want to run your mouth? You want to say that I won't reach the mountaintop again? Well, you know what, Priest, said Rollins. I don't believe you. That's a false bravado. You'll believe Damian Priest? He asked the fans, and the crowd booed. He says, your actions and your words don't line up. You say you don't want anyone's help, but yet you needed help at Clash at the Castle. Priest then said, listen, I can't change what happened, but here's the difference between you and me. You represent the past. I represent the present. So Rollins said, you know, you're the one that challenged me at Money in the Bank. I don't really appreciate being one-upped. So how about this? I'm going to one-up you. How about this little side bet? What do you say if you beat me, then you get your wish? Let's sweeten the pot. If you win, then I will not challenge for that title again as long as you hold it. But when I win, you, Damian Priest, will have to stand on your own 2 feet. If I win, Priest, you leave the Judgment Day. Priest laughed and he said, I like it. I'm the champion. To me, the Judgment Day needs me more than I need them, so I accept. I like it. I like it a lot. Afterwards, they shake hands. Gunther came out. Gunther said, I understand there is a lot on the line at Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest. I want to see this match. I cannot wait to see this match. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. May the better man win. But at SummerSlam, the better man of the two of you will be the lesser man when he steps in the ring with me. Good shit. You want to know why I like this? I like this because this brings more unpredictability to Money in the Bank. See, I already knew what was going to go down at Money in the Bank, and I kind of still do. Let's be honest here. You're not going to take the title off of Damian Priest. It would be foolish to take the title off of Damian Priest. Damian Priest should retain the championship. You're not going to kick Damian Priest out of the Judgment Day now. You're not. However, I appreciate the fact that WWE is going the extra mile to make the match just a little more interesting, because not only is the winner the World Heavyweight Champion, not only will the winner face Gunther, but this will be a lot more interesting because we're going to see if Seth Rollins can get the job done. And this offers another test to Damian Priest to see if he can truthfully stand on his own 2 feet. And if I'm booking this, I'm having Damian Priest beat Seth Rollins clean. That's what I'm going to do. I'm having Damian Priest beat Seth Rollins clean. Great way to make the match a little bit more unpredictable. They played a VHS tape. It was Uncle Howdy, and he was talking to Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, he was talking about how he was no one. He says, my brother, when he died, It was like the most important thing in my life was taken from me. Like nothing was going to matter again. All I ever wanted was to be like my brother. I wanted to be like him. We were going to rule this business together, and then it all got taken away from me. Nobody feels what I feel, but we'll make them remember, says Bo Dallas. And Uncle Howdy says, yes, we will. I love this. That this was fantastic from start to finish. Fantastic shit from start to finish. You want to know what this felt like? You want to know why this felt a little bit more real? You want to know why this was a lot better than whatever the fuck that they were doing with The Fiend and they were doing the supernatural shit? You want to know what makes this so relatable? When you watch this tape and you already know who Uncle Howdy is. Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. Uncle Howdy is being played by Bo Dallas. So with that knowledge, it's almost as if you're watching this and Bo Dallas, he's not having a conversation with someone else. He's not having a conversation with another being. He's having a conversation with the dark version of himself. Bo Dallas is having a sit-down one-on-one with his sinister side. It's like Bo Dallas has all these demons and Bo Dallas has all of these negative emotions. Bo Dallas has all of these bad thoughts, and these bad thoughts are manifesting themselves as Uncle Howdy. And we're going to see if Bo Dallas is going to give in to those bad thoughts, if he's going to give in to the negative aspect of his mind, to the negative aspect of his brain, and he's going to become sinister. He's going to become vile, dark, and evil. That's what makes this so great. It's relatable because we all have our demons. We all have self-doubt. We all have evil in our minds. And we ourselves are trying to keep ourselves under control. We're trying to keep ourselves under control so that way we don't give in. We don't give in to the dark side of our minds. But Bo Dallas, he's losing control. And Bo Dallas is embracing the sinister side of him. Bo Dallas is embracing his dark and evil side. That's what makes it so great. Bo Dallas was talking to himself. Bo Dallas was talking to his own demons. I don't understand how you can't sit there and find that relatable. This is as relatable as you can get, and that is what is going to get the Wyatt Six over. Because these individuals, they're not here to do supernatural shit. These individuals are individuals that are giving in to their demonic sides. These individuals are going to give themselves up and let the evil inside them take over. That's what's so great about this. Hell froze over again. Karrion Kross got a victory. Holy fuck. Karrion Kross beats Kofi Kingston with the final prayer. Karrion Kross gets the win over Kofi Kingston 1-2-3. My oh my. My oh my. Who would have fucking thought? Next week, we got Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. We got Ivy Nile, Dakota Kai, and Zoe Stark. We got Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Ilya Dragunov next week. 2 Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat matches. And then we got Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan for the Women's Championship. Main event, Awesome Truth versus Finn Balor and J.D. McDonough. World Tag Team Championships. Finally, praise be to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The Awesome Truth are no longer the World Tag Team Champions. It is a great thing to see. Now, that's a positive side of things. The negative side of things, Finn Balor is above this. Finn Balor is far, and I mean far above whatever the fuck is going on here. Finn Balor now is once again World Tag Team Champions with J.D. McDonough this time. Listen, I'll tell you this. I am very, very happy for J.D. McDonough. Judgment Day beat Awesome Truth to become the World Tag Team titles last Monday on Raw. I'm happy for J.D. McDonough because J.D. McDonough, he's very good. J.D. McDonough is very underappreciated. He's very underappreciated. He gets way too much hate. But at the end of the day, Finn Balor is above this shit. And now I'm here scratching my head and I'm asking, well, why did you even give the titles to the Awesome Truth if you were just going to give the titles back to the Judgment Day? And this is the problem that I have with the tag team division. The tag team division is non-existent. You have so many tag teams, like Pretty Deadly, they're not being used. Angel and Humberto, not being used. New Catch Republic, not being used. You had Awesome Truth as the tag team champions, only to give it right back to the Judgment Day. Then you got Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They don't even fucking defend the titles. WWE needs to get their head out of their ass, and they need to start pushing tag team wrestling as a priority. Good main event. It was a good main event, though. I will say that. This was probably the best Awesome Truth match that we've seen in God knows how long. It was a good main event. Judgment Day win, thanks to Liv Morgan. So it seems as though Liv Morgan is not only buttering up Dominic Mysterio, she's buttering up JD and Finn Balor as well. How about that? Not a bad night. Not a bad night on Monday. Not a bad night on Monday at all. Hope you guys are having a good time. Be sure to get your super chats in, get your super stickers in, get your super chats in, get your super thanks, and make sure you become a member of the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Be sure to get your super chats and all that other good stuff in. And of course, hit me up for the merch if you do want some merch. We have a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. And we actually got a lot of good material on AEW Dynamite. It's for the go-home show for Forbidden Door. Dynamite kicked off with MJF. Dynamite kicked off with MJF. However, he did not even get one word or one sentence out. Barely even got a sentence out. By the way, I see one of my fans, Jesse, is currently in the chat. Shout out to Jesse. I greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. You are awesome. You are awesome. So, MJF kicked off the show, but he barely even got a sentence out because he was interrupted. He was interrupted by Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia came out. They're in Daniel Garcia's hometown of Buffalo. Daniel Garcia came out, and Daniel Garcia says he is out here to do something that no one has ever done before. He's actually out here to say nice things about MJF. So MJF, he's got this smug smile on his face. He raised his eyebrow and in a very sarcastic and cocky voice, he goes, "Well, go on then." So Garcia talks about how MJF, he gave Daniel Garcia an opportunity at the World Championship. He challenged him for the world title, but it was the most embarrassing night of his life. But that loss motivated him to be a part of big moments and big matches, and now all of these people believe in me. Why be a pillar when I can be a backbone? I want to be the foundation of AEW, and for that, I wanted to say thank you. So he thanked MJF, and then he said, but I want to let you know, if you talk shit now, you're going to have the entire city of Buffalo coming for your head. MJF then said, I just came out here. First things first, let me go and shill Forbidden Door. Get your tickets now. Get your tickets for Collision. I'll be showing up on Collision in a few weeks. Now I'm done shilling. So MJF did his shit there. Then he said, I was actually going to ask you to come out here, Danny. And I got one thing to say to you. Thank you, Danny. No one talks about the nice things that I do. Because let's be honest, I'm rich, I'm young, I'm handsome, and some people are jealous of that. No one has my talent, but I know one guy who's getting closer and closer. And he's talking about Danny. He then said, I gave you a title shot because you earned it. You reminded me of me. We are two cocky, talented kids from New York. When I gave you that shot, I whooped your ass without breaking a sweat, though. But you have grown exponentially. You've busted your ass. You didn't run from the grind. You are the grind. And you know something, Danny? Maybe you should get one more shot at the king. So let me know how you feel about it. Daniel Garcia versus MJF, Wembley Stadium, all in. And then all of a sudden, out comes Will Ospreay. Daniel Garcia didn't even get a rebuttal. Out comes Will Ospreay. So Will said, well, I wanted to come out here and say, bruv, I appreciate you, Danny. You've been racking up win after win quicker than I last in the bedroom. I'm sorry, babe. I'm trying. He's talking to his wife, Alex Windsor. He goes, next week, you got yourself a match. But how about I sweeten the deal? How about I put the world title on the line as well? And Daniel Garcia accepted. Will Ospreay then walked away from MJF. He didn't even say anything. He didn't even say anything to MJF. And MJF told Danny, listen, you focus on that first. He kind of brushed off Daniel Garcia and he walked away. This was fucking awesome. This was great. You want to know what was so great about this? What was so great about this is the fact that they're doing something so simple with Will Ospreay and MJF. These two haven't even said a fucking word to each other yet. These two haven't even said a fucking word to each other yet. And you already can feel where this is going. Some people were saying, well, why are they going with Daniel Garcia and MJF at Wembley? They're not. They're not. The reason why Danny was out there is because AEW has high priority with Daniel Garcia. They want to showcase him on TV. They're putting him in these big match scenarios, in these big spotlights to give him more exposure. Because right now, the people want to see more of Daniel Garcia. The more Daniel Garcia, the better. And now with Daniel being involved in this is going to give him another great showcase. This is the way that you build up new stars. You give them more TV time. You give them more opportunities. You give them the opportunity to cut promos and fight against the best of the best. Daniel Garcia, no disrespect to him, even though he showcased well here, the main priority was Ospreay and MJF. The main priority here is Ospreay and MJF, and Daniel Garcia is mainly being used as a stepping stone. Garcia was out there so that way Will Ospreay can one-up MJF. MJF offered Daniel Garcia the shot of a lifetime at Wembley. And Will Ospreay comes out and says, hold on, bruv, hold on. Listen, you can wait till Wembley, but how about I give you the title shot next week? He's given Daniel Garcia the title shot next week. They're not waiting till Wembley. So now MJF's going to take exception to that. MJF is now going to be in a scenario where he's not happy at being upstaged. And that is going to play into what we're going to get at All In. It is Ospreay and MJF at All In. Adam Cole's not ready to go. Adam Cole's not ready to go. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We're going to get Ospreay and MJF. And that is a great replacement for Adam Cole and MJF. Ospreay and MJF, that right there is going to be one hell of a match. That will sell tickets. That's the way to go right there. Blackpool Combat Club. They fought Shingo Takagi, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi. This was La Facción Ingobernables de Japón versus the Blackpool Combat Club. This match ended in a DQ. Kind of lame, if you ask me. I got to be fair here. Kind of lame it ended in a DQ, but we did get two major sells for two big matches during Forbidden Door weekend. We got Tatsuya Naito coming out, and we had a brawl. We had a brawl with Naito and Moxley, and then we got one final cell for Shingo Takagi and Bryan Danielson. That's going to be pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to that. Jay White, he took on Rey Fenix in a quarterfinal match in the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament. This was a very good match. We had Phoenix with a tope suicida on White. White with a neck breaker. Coming back from commercial, Phoenix with a super kick. Tightrope PK. Big frog splash. Jay White kicked out. Brainbuster by White for a 2. Uranagi by White for a 2. Rey Fenix hit a roundhouse kick. He went for a big move on Jay White, but Jay White reversed it into a Blade Runner, and Jay White beats Rey Fenix clean. 1, 2, 3. Jay White advances to the semifinals of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I like it. Jay White, he's been showcased pretty prominently. I'm liking that Jay White is still being showcased heavily on AEW TV. Out comes the patriarchy, and Christian Cage just stared down Jay White. It looks like we're going to get the patriarchy versus the Bang Bang Gang at All In. I am not going to be opposed to that whatsoever. If anything, the patriarchy getting the victory over the Bang Bang Gang is probably the best route to go about it. It frees up the Guns to go back to the tag team division, and then it frees up Jay White to be in the singles division. Now, what I would love to see, what would be a great way to sell the match at All In, we got Blood and Guts coming up, right? We got Blood and Guts coming out, and if we're going to do the Blood and Guts match, how about in the undercard, how about we get Christian versus Jay White one-on-one. Now, that would be a damn good fucking match. Christian Jay White one-on-one at Blood and Guts in the undercard. That's a good way to go about it. The Young Bucks, they announced that they have inserted their own wild card into the tournament, and he's going to bring the world title to the Elite. Hangman Adam Page, that is the way to go. I'm more confident than ever that it's Hangman. Now, I see people bitching and moaning and complaining, well, didn't the Elite fire Hangman? Well, why is Hangman Adam Page going to be in the tournament? Why is he the wild card? If you guys have been paying attention, which you should have been, but many of you fucking morons are not, there is an underlying factor as to why the Young Bucks are recruiting Hangman, if it is Hangman, which I do believe it is. Who is the world champion right now? It's Swerve Strickland. Now, I am fairly confident that Swerve Strickland is going to retain the world championship over Will Ospreay. I am fairly confident. Swerve Strickland will retain the world championship. If Swerve Strickland retains the world championship over Will Ospreay, then Hangman coming back as the wild card, it makes sense because Hangman, before he had to take time off due to his personal issue, whatever it may be, Hangman became obsessed. Hangman became driven by his obsession to make sure that Swerve Strickland never became world champion. The roles were reversed. Swerve became the babyface. He was no longer the heel. Hangman became the heel because Swerve is just so popular to a point where no one wants to boo him. And now Hangman became the heel because he was using all these underhanded tactics to make sure that Swerve Strickland was not going to be the world champion. So with that being said, all the Young Bucks had to do was bribe Hangman Page. Listen, Swerve Strickland's still the world champion. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to get that world title off of him. This is your opportunity to take the title off of him and get your vengeance. It's simple. It's very, very simple. Hangman's obsession and his drive to get the world title off of Strickland, to get revenge on Swerve Strickland, that is going to drive him to put away whatever the Young Bucks did to him. Whether they fired him or not, the Young Bucks are preying on Hangman's vulnerability. They're preying on Hangman's insanity. They're preying on Hangman's obsession to get the title off of Swerve Strickland. And on top of that, I don't know why the fuck you're complaining that it's Hangman, because if you've been paying attention, everyone seems to be a fucking story whore now. Everyone seems to be sucking off WWE because, oh God, there's so much story. Everyone wants story. They're giving you a fucking story. They're giving you a great story, actually. Hangman and Swerve is the story. It's been going on since September. It's a long-term story. And if you are going to complain about that, but yet you're fucking jerking off to whatever the Bloodline is doing on SmackDown, you're the fucking problem with the IWC. Hangman and Swerve, this is going to culminate at All In. I've been stating this since the beginning of the year. There is no better match than Swerve and Hangman for the main event of All In. There is no better two individuals. There's no better story. There is no better in-ring match. There are no better two guys than those two. Why? Look at what the fuck they've been doing since September. They have been putting on some of the best matches. They've been giving you some of the best promo segments that we've seen. The 3 matches that they had already were 3 fucking bangers from start to finish. Why would you not want another one? And then, why would you not want to see that new dynamic in London? That new dynamic with Swerve being the babyface and Hangman being the heel. The crowd has already told you who they're rooting for. Why would you not want that? Doesn't really make any sense to me. Why would you not want to see what that dynamic would be like in London? Everything about this makes sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense regarding the whole ordeal is why Will Ospreay got a shot at Swerve Strickland this early. It shouldn't have been this early. Will Ospreay should not have gotten a shot at Swerve Strickland this early. You could have saved this for later on. If anything, it's kind of stupid that Will Ospreay is fighting Swerve Strickland when Will Ospreay is the international champion. It's ridiculous. Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. The Acclaimed came out. No rapping. Caster talked about beating the Young Cucks, and he says that the Acclaimed are the people's choice. They will get a championship shot. You can't run this company, nor can you run from a fight. Bowens then took the mic. Bowens is a very underrated promo. Bowens said, all we need to do is beat you. You are one more match away from losing to the Acclaimed, and you'll be looking at your new 2-time AEW World Tag Team Champions. All of a sudden, Kazuchika Okada and the Young Bucks came out, and Okada goes, wait, scissor me, bitch. Gotta love Okada. So the Bucks came out, and they were saying to everyone, shut your mouths. We are out here to conduct business. We challenge the 3 of you pricks at Forbidden Door. So Daddy Ass then says, listen, I got an idea. What were you saying about a 6-man tag team match? I couldn't really get the full sentence because they were chanting that y'all suck. So how about this? I know how to deal with EVPs, said Billy Gunn. Matter of fact, I know a president. And he reveals the president of New Japan Professional Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi shows up on screen, and he says that he will be joining the Acclaimed at Forbidden Door. He says that the Scissor Ace is coming. So we got Hiroshi Tanahashi on the show. Not really a big-time game changer of a match, to be quite honest with you. If anything, this is probably one of the matches I'm looking forward to the least. However, I will say this. It's probably going to be a nice little, it'll be a nice little preview. It'll be a nice little preview towards what we're going to get in Chicago, which I assume we're going to get a tag team title shot for the Acclaimed. It's going to be at Beach Break in Chicago on July 3rd. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. Speaking of a 6-man tag, we got a 6-woman tag. It was Harley Cameron, Anna Jay, and Saraya versus Toni Storm, Mariah May, and Mina Shirakawa. This was a fun little match. Nothing really too crazy. The ladies did what they needed to do. The main thing was what happened after the match. What happened after the match, Mariah May and Toni Storm were dancing, and then all of a sudden, Mina, she went to break a champagne bottle over Tony's head. She broke the champagne bottle over Mariah May's head. Looks like Mariah May's going to make her choice this Sunday at Forbidden Door, and she will be choosing Tony. It's going to be Mariah and Tony at All In. That's probably the best way to go. Is she ready for that spot? I don't know. Is Mariah ready to be the face of the division? I do not know. I'm not sure. Listen, I'm open to seeing it. I'm willing to give her the chance, but still, to me, it's actually quite disappointing that Jamie Hayter's not back. Very disappointing. Chris Jericho came out. I am the learning tree. Hi, guys. Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho came out with his branches. Brian Keith was in a sling. Big Bill said Joe, Hook, and Shibata took out Brian Keith and then challenged them when they know that they are one man down. But when one door closes, another door opens. Jericho said, "Hi, guys. I'm here for the young guys, and I can help their careers." He said that he has a partner, and it's Minoru Suzuki. But Minoru Suzuki said, "I don't want to fight you. The learning tree sucks, and I don't want anything to do with it. I want to fight you for your title." So then we had Joe, Hook, and Shibata coming out, and Joe said, "Isn't this awkward? The learning tree is like the Jericho family tree. It doesn't have enough branches. You drop these nuggets of knowledge. So you know what? Shibata has a nugget of knowledge for you." So Shibata clicked the Siri, and the Siri translator on Shibata said, "Oh, brother, this guy sucks." Best part of the entire segment right there. So we get a big brawl, and that was pretty much it. Very meaningless. Very meaningless, if we're going to be quite honest with you. Very meaningless. Did not need to happen. Very, very blah. And if you ask me, we could have done without this. Didn't need to happen. And I really don't know how anyone believes that this learning tree shit is actually working. And the fact that we're going to have to sit through a match at Forbidden Door, it's really, really, really fucking, it's really exhausting. If I'm going to sum it up, it's fucking exhausting. Listen, I've already said I respect Chris Jericho God knows how many times, but the learning tree shit, it's not fucking working. It is not fucking working. I appreciate him. I do. But it's not resonating. It's not. The best part about this shit was Shibata using fucking Siri Translator. Outside of that, there was nothing redeeming about this. Nothing. If anything, this fucked up the show a bit. The show was flowing well, and they fucked up the flow. Kyle O'Reilly and Zack Sabre Jr. The crowd was actually chanting, "This is wrestling. This is wrestling," during the match before we got Kyle O'Reilly trying to regain some control. The transitions, I will say, were seamless. And you could look at this, and it was a technical masterpiece. It was a technical wrestling masterpiece. So the Undisputed Kingdom came in to check on Kyle O'Reilly before Tomohiro Ishii came out, and he stood side by side with Cassidy. And it looks like we're going to get a match between Cassidy, Ishii, and the Mighty Don't Kneel. This is Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. That's going to be on Collision tonight. Zack Sabre Jr., he gets the win here, and he heads into his match with Orange Cassidy. I'm giving Sabre the win here. I'm going to give Zack Sabre Jr. the win. No need for Orange Cassidy to come out victorious. Sabre needed the win more. Sabre needs the win more. He should get the win. Main event. Main event was Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Gates of Agony. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I hate the fact that they're doing the can you coexist storyline. I really fucking hate that. However, I will give all four men credit here. This match was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The match actually had no right to be as good as it was. This was very, very good. We did have some miscommunications between Ospreay and Swerve. This was all trying to build up tension for what's going to go down at Forbidden Door. I fully expect a match of the year candidate. It's going to be fucking great. So, at the end of the match, Will Ospreay gets the win with the Hidden Blade. Afterwards, Swerve had the championship ripped from him again by Ospreay, and Swerve chopped out the knee and gave a house call to Will Ospreay, which I thought was awesome. Listen, if there's one match that you can use to sell a pay-per-view, it's this match. I believe Bully Ray talked about that on Busted Open. By the way, I'm going to have to give some credit to Bully Ray here. Bully Ray, I have shit on Bully Ray for the longest time for being a WWE cocksucker. Recently, he's actually gotten a lot more objective. He's been very, very fair. So I got to give credit to Bully Ray where credit is due. Bully Ray is no longer in the same category as the Jim Cornettes of the world or the Eric Bischoffs or fucking people like that. Bully Ray is actually very fair in his analytical takes. I will give him credit there. I may start to listen to Busted Open just a little bit more. Now, originally, I only liked LaGreca. LaGreca's a great guy. Bully Ray, he was a fucking WWE cockburger. But recently, Bully Ray has actually been very fair with what he's doing. I'm not really sure what happened. I'm not really sure why Bully Ray decided to, be a little bit more fair when it comes to his criticisms. But either way, I got to give Bully Ray credit. But that was Dynamite. We did get some decent shit, but really, that Jericho segment didn't do the show any favors. We didn't really need to see the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi get the match at Forbidden Door. It should be fine for what we get, but it really wasn't necessary. Then we go to SmackDown. SmackDown was live from Madison Square Garden. 18,000 fans in attendance. Good for them. So we had the Bloodline coming out to the ring. Heyman asked where Jacob Fatu was. We had Randy Owens and Cody come on out, and we get a big brawl with the Bloodline before we get the security separating them. Nick Aldis tried to get the security to escort the three baby faces before they all took out the security guards. Cody Rhodes then said, "We got ourselves one of the most dangerous men in the WWE in Kevin Owens and then a first ballot Hall of Famer in Randy Orton. I should be defending my title in this building instead of fighting the Bloodline, fighting a battle that I should have already finished at WrestleMania. Solo, you are not the tribal chief. You are a seat filler." Very nice zinger by Cody Rhodes. Now we're starting to see that angry side of Cody Rhodes. That's a great thing to see. Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae, Money in the Bank qualifying match. This was actually a good match. Jade did not really look out of place here. It's very, very weird. Jade is very hot and cold. She fucks up, and then she's good. She fucks up, then she's good. So we got ourselves Indy Hartwell costing Jade Cargill because she was trying to help her friend Candice LeRae. In the end, Tiffany Stratton gets the win with the prettiest moonsault ever. Very nicely done. And Tiffany Stratton is going to Money in the Bank. Tiffany Stratton, she should be your number one. If there's one woman who is the best candidate to win the women's Money in the Bank briefcase, it is indeed Tiffany Stratton. I do not want to hear anyone else try and argue with me there. Tiffany Stratton is the right woman to win the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. We got ourselves a men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Triple threat match. It was Santos Escobar, LA Knight, and Logan Paul, who recently just interviewed President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump absolutely destroyed Joe Biden in that debate on Thursday. Trump 2024, motherfuckers. We got ourselves a great match here between LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Santos Escobar. And I was slightly shocked, but at the same point in time, I was not shocked that LA Knight won for a multitude of reasons. Number one, with LA Knight and Logan Paul in the match, I figured that they were pretty much going to cancel each other out, allowing Santos Escobar to take over control, and Santos was going to go to Money in the Bank. But in the end, LA Knight got a roll-up on Logan Paul. He pinned the United States champion. He pinned Logan Paul. So, by that logic, we're going to see LA Knight probably he gets fucked over at Money in the Bank by Logan Paul. And by that logic, LA Knight can say, listen, I already fucking beat you. I'm challenging you for that title at SummerSlam. So we get the match at SummerSlam and LA Knight wins. So I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked. So I can't really shit on LA Knight being in that spotlight as long as we get something out of it with Logan Paul. If Logan Paul doesn't cost LA Knight, then ultimately it really comes off as meaningless. Blair Davenport, Naomi, and Indy Hartwell, Money in the Bank qualifying match. I was actually disappointed. This was a rather sloppy match. I don't know what happened here, but this was not as good of a match as it could have been. I'm not really sure where they went wrong here, but very, very, very blah match. Very blah match from start to finish. It didn't resonate. It really didn't resonate the way that it should have. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure where they went wrong, but these three women just didn't seem to match up. They didn't seem to match up. It seemed to have just fallen apart halfway through. Matter of fact, it never even got started. Naomi gets the win. With the Bubba Bomb, and she pins Indy Hartwell. I don't mind Naomi going into the match. I would have preferred Blair Davenport, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I mind Naomi because Naomi, she's been used as a glorified enhancement talent. Naomi's been used as a glorified enhancement talent for God knows how long now. So if anything, Naomi getting the shot here, Naomi getting the spot here is a good showcase for her because at least it showcases that WWE is still putting her in those big-time spots and they're not just using her as a glorified jobber. So I'm not mad that Naomi is in this match. I'm actually happy that Naomi is getting that opportunity. Next week, when SmackDown comes to the Scotiabank Arena, we're going to have Bianca and Jade versus Candice and Indy. Pretty Deadly is fighting the Street Profits. And we got DIY versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory for the tag team titles. I think now would be the time to put those titles on DIY. Bloodline came out. They were going to anoint Paul Heyman as Solo's official wise man. Solo wanted the mic. Heyman reluctantly gave it to him. Solo then introduced the new enforcer, the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. He had an awesome entrance, did Jacob Fatu. Afterwards, Solo goes, Madison Square Garden, acknowledge me. And Paul Heyman is just shocked beyond belief. He's got his hand over his mouth. He's just fucking stunned. So Solo had all the members of the Bloodline step up. He had Tama Tonga step up. He had the infamous Tongaloa step up. He had Jacob Fatu step up. And he had all of them acknowledge him, and they all acknowledged him. He then went to Paul Heyman, and he gave Paul Heyman the sacred Hawaiian lei, the Hawaiian necklace. And he says, Paul, acknowledge me as your tribal chief. So Paul Heyman, he's fucking watery-eyed. He's sweating. He hasn't fucking shaved at all. He hasn't shaved. He looks disheveled. He looked like he just fucking fell out of bed. Paul Heyman is virtually crying at this rate. And he goes, Solo, I love you. And his voice cracks and he goes, I acknowledge. And he's like he's about to break down fucking crying. And he goes, I acknowledge that you are not my tribal chief. The crowd fucking erupted. Solo then spikes Paul Heyman into oblivion. Jacob Fatu goes up with a diving headbutt onto Paul Heyman. Heyman is selling the shit out of it. And then, just like the Shield did back in the day, we got ourselves a triple power bomb by the Enforcer, the right-hand man, and the infamous Tongaloa. And it was a triple power bomb to Paul Heyman through the table. And Solo and the Bloodline stood tall. This was fucking excellent. This was fucking excellent. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. This is the best version of the Bloodline that we've gotten since Sami Zayn was in it. I've talked about this in depth, and I have not shied away from this. Coming out of WrestleMania 38 2 years ago, the Bloodline was dead in the water. The Bloodline was a dead faction. No one gave a fuck about them. They were meaningless. Blah. They meant nothing. They meant absolutely nothing. But, insert Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn single-handedly revived the Bloodline. Sami Zayn single-handedly made the Bloodline interesting again. Why? Because the Bloodline finally had someone that they can bounce their heel magnitude off of. It's the same reason why the Undisputed Kingdom was dead in the water following World's End. The Undisputed Kingdom are a group of 5 great wrestlers. They're great at what they do. And they've done some decent shit here and there in the year. They've done some decent shit here and there in 2024. I'm not going to say they haven't. But the overall vibe of the Undisputed Kingdom is very blah. Why? Because they didn't have MJF. MJF was going to be that babyface that they have to bounce their heel magnitude off of, and we never got that. Now MJF is moving on until Adam Cole is ready to come back. Now MJF is moving on, and MJF is going to fight Will Ospreay at All In. The whole ordeal revolves around babyface dynamic and heel dynamic. Listen, it's old school. It's old school, and it's not necessarily needed. We don't need a babyface heel dynamic with every fucking match. We just need 2 great wrestlers and have them go in there and put on a 5-star classic. That's all we need in 2024. But when it comes to heels, of the magnitude of an Undisputed Kingdom or a Bloodline, you need a babyface for them to work off of. And in this case, Paul Heyman is playing the role of Sami Zayn. And with Paul Heyman playing the role of Sami Zayn, this is going to now translate over to Roman. It's going to translate over to Jimmy. It's going to translate over to Jay. And it's going to translate to whoever is going to be in Roman's camp when Roman comes back and leads his side of the Anoa'i family against Solo's side of the Anoa'i family. That's what's going to be so great about it. That's what's going to be so interesting. It's going to be very, very fun to see how everything plays out when Roman now comes back. And now with Heyman out of the picture, this version of the bloodline, much more vicious than Roman's side, much more intimidating than Roman's side. Now, this should not warrant Solo versus Cody. This should not warrant Solo versus Cody. If anything, this should warrant Roman returning at Money in the Bank, and then we get Roman and Solo at SummerSlam. That's the way to go about it. That's how they should do it. Now, I'm interested to see what happens going forward. I am. I'm interested to see what happens going forward. And what we got in the main event of SmackDown, a great follow-up to last week, and a great follow-up to what has been the best build towards a WWE Premium Live event all year. Money in the Bank has been the best built event all year for WWE. No show has had this good of a build like Money in the Bank, and I appreciate that. One last show to go over, and then we're getting out of here. One more time, I appreciate each and every single one of you who came on by, stopped by. You guys are awesome. I cannot thank you guys enough for showing me some support, for making every single stream that I do, memorable, and for making being DJ Storms all worthwhile. It is a fun time always when I go live and I have all of you guys coming on in to support me. Rampage. We got ourselves another 5-match Rampage card. And I'm going to say the same thing as last week. Listen, we get some decent matches. I'm not going to say we get no decent material on Rampage. This isn't like WWE 2018, WWE 2019. We do get some decent shit on the show, but the 5-match format is not working. The 5-match format is actually killing the show. I've ranted about WWE for not pushing pro wrestling first. Now I'm going to rant about AEW for not having structure to their shows. 5 matches within an hour does not work. 5 matches within an hour is not the way to go. Rampage should have 3 matches maximum. Give me 3 quality matches, put some bigger stars on the show, and build shit that flows from Rampage to Dynamite to Collision. That's the way that things should go. We need to space things out a lot better. Because if we don't, shit is not going to come off well. Shit is not going to come off well, and shit does not resonate. It doesn't. We got about a couple decent matches here or there, but in the end, it just did not come off good because of the fact that there's too much shit crammed into a small hour. Enough with these 5-match cards. Rampage should be 3 matches and 3 matches only with some promos and segments sprinkled in. Put the bigger stars on the show. Stop overloading the card. Stop. Orange Cassidy. He defeated the Outrunners. Pretty much nothing more than a setup match for his match today with Tomohiro Ishii taking on TMDK. Gabe Kidd and Roderick Strong, they took on the Infantry. This was a decent little sprint here. I appreciate Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd is very good at what he does. He's the one that took the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship off of Eddie Kingston last month at Resurgence, and he actually put Eddie Kingston on the shelf. Pretty fucking brutal spot. The Infantry, listen, if they want to invest in the Infantry, I do believe that the Infantry could be a solid tag team in the division going forward. I really do. The Infantry could be a solid tag team in the division going forward, and we could end up getting some really solid material from Carly Bravo and Shawn Dean. But Gabe Kidd and Roderick Strong get the win. Gabe Kidd beats, I believe it was Bravo, with the pile driver, and that was it, 1, 2, 3. El Fantasmo El Fantasmo, ELP, he took on AR Fox. This was a TNT ladder match qualifier. This was solid for what it was. It was fast-paced. Fox with a Tope Con Hero on ELP. We had a Swanton Bomb for 2. El Fantasmo is pretty underrated in his own right. The fans were actually chanting Logan Paul at El Fantasmo, and he was egging them on. I thought that was pretty funny. We had a Lion Salt for 2. Enziguri by Fox and a Twisting Brainbuster. He went for the 450, but ELP kicked out. El Fantasmo then with a Destroyer and a Super Kick and then a cross-armed Styles Clash. And ELP gets the win. ELP is the final participant in the ladder match on Sunday. So it's El Fantasmo, Leo Rush, Dante Martin, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, and Konosuke Takeshita. And I really hope to God they give it to Konosuke Takeshita. He is the right guy to get the win in that ladder match. Shingo Takagi, he took on Dalton Castle. Another solid match, but again, not needed. We didn't need another showcase match for Shingo Takagi. Shingo gets the win with the Made in Japan, leading up to his match against Bryan Danielson on Sunday. Sky Blue and Queen Aminata, the ladies got the main event. This was a good match for what it was, but in the end, the downside to it all is there's no rankings. There's no rankings, so these matches don't mean anything. That's what I fucking hate about both WWE and AEW. The worst part about professional wrestling nowadays is that it's not treated like a sport, and there's no rankings. There's no rankings, so all of these matches, the in-ring action essentially doesn't mean anything unless it's some sort of a number one contenders match or a qualifying match. I fucking hate that. We need rankings for both WWE and AEW, and we need them to be enforced. The first 3 years of AEW, those rankings worked beautifully. Were they perfect? No. But did they work? Yes. Yes, they did. You can't tell me that they didn't. They worked. Championship matches made sense. Shit made sense from start to finish. You can't say the same about AEW and WWE now. Shit does not make sense. People get title matches out of thin fucking air. And I fucking hate that. Queen Aminata gets the win over Sky Blue. Afterwards, Sky Blue attacked Aminata, only for Red Velvet to come out and attack and make the save, sending Sky Blue packing. That's all I got. That's all I got. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome, and I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. That is all that I got for you guys. That has been the Lightning Flash update. One more time, thank you very much to Jesse. Thank you very much to Dylan. Thank you very much to James Punaseca and Didi. It was a fantastic show from start to finish, as expected. And you guys are continuing to make being DJ Storms the most fun thing that I have going in my life. Till next time, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all those links in the description. Jesse, I hope you have a fun time over at the Meadowlands Racetrack for the ISPW event. Let me know how it goes. Be sure to send in your super chats, super stickers, super thanks. Hit me up for all sorts of DJ Storms merch. Be ready on Monday. It is the rewind for AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door. That's going to be at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on Monday. Special Monday stream. I don't stream a lot on Mondays, but when I do, you know it's always a fun time. And you're damn right, in Storms, we trust. And then next Thursday, 4th of July, I'm still debating on whether or not we may do a Savage Storm Wrestling Super Show. We're going to wait and see. We may put it off only because of the fact that Savage probably has some family stuff going on. Maybe I got some family stuff going on, but I'll keep you guys updated until then. But As far as today goes, my name is DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. And before we get out of here, people, you already know what I'm going to ask you. Please tell me, one and all, tell me who runs the IWC. Matter of fact, that is a rhetorical question. I will tell you who runs the IWC. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you ever forget it.
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!